Hello again and welcome. No, thank you for coming back and staying committed to your own growth, happiness, and supporting the growth and happiness of all in the world and humanity and the earth itself, and even beings in other atmospheres, dimensions. All affects all. All affects all. Other beings and other atmospheres or dimensions even affect you here on Earth and vice versa. When you improve the quality of your emotional state, mental state, physical state, spiritual state, which means your energy, the quality of your energy, you also help all others. Today is going to get a little not fun. This one is going to be, it's going to bring up anger. This is why I say this. It's not going to be particularly fun or enjoyable. Those who are not in full God awareness or enlightened, fully aware of your soul's presence constantly, always, and feeling that and having awareness of that. And it's your primary state of awareness is the awareness and presence of your soul. When you are not in this state, there is anger that needs to come out from deep within. It needs to come out to the surface, to the top, where it can be noticed and be brought awareness to it. Under all anger is fear, and under all fears is the one fear of not being good enough for God's love. Remember when I said you all forgot who you are, that you are God, that you are beings of the light, beings of God, of love, of the light, of divinity, of the divine, of perfectness. And because of that, forgetting that block of awareness, that block of knowing who you are, of knowing this, there is an innate feeling of guilt and shame within each of you. And it's because of, leaving it's because of leaving God awareness. We will talk much more about this later, but that one underlying fear of being separated from your source has created many, many, many different forms of dysfunctions, disharmonies, negative emotions, then negative behaviors and that follow that, and then experiences that follow that negative quality of energy and its dysfunctional experiences, and a lot of pain and suffering occurs for like almost every human being on earth, simply as a result of that one underlying fear of being separated from your creator, your source of love and life. I do want to explain more to you about how and why you forgot this and how we are a part of that, not intentionally, but we are partly to blame, so to speak. We did not intend you to forget your divinity, to forget that you are literally, gosh, I don't normally feel energy when I channel here, but I always want to cry. It's very sadness feeling here. It's from Enlil. Just like a deep sadness and sorrow coming up for him. And I just, I'm not an empath. I can just communicate to consciousness, different forms of consciousness, different beings. And, but I actually feel his energy now. And he's heartbroken. And he's so sad and sorry for what he has unintentionally contributed toward so much suffering for us. And he did not mean for that to happen. That was not his or their, the Annunnaki's intention. And he's just devastated. He's heartbroken. And he wants to fix this. But it requires our willingness, our desire. But we're stuck in unconsciousness and we don't realize what we're missing. And we have to participate. We have to have that willingness. We have to have that desire. He can't do it for us. I want you to grow. Yes. And it's not going to be a pleasant experience at first, especially. Who wants to drudge up old pain and anger and hurts and trauma? Fears? Nobody. But if you don't deal with it in a healthy, effective, efficient manner, you're going to stay stuck in this pattern of being reborn again and again and again in ignorance and growing so slowly with so much suffering in the process, just through life experience and living life unconsciously. And the trials and tribulations that get created as a result, unconsciously, of course. So again, I will say, it takes a commitment to yourself and a follow through with that commitment, to put, a little time in, at first, and kind of sticking with it. And now, for today's exercise, I want to ask you, this is a writing exercise this week, to write down every single unhealed hurt, anger, resentment that you have from your whole life, like literally. Wait 2 weeks to have the next video. Not 1 week, but 2 weeks. And spend just 30 minutes a day writing down, any and all experiences you've had of any level of significance that has caused you pain. That either life created for you, or a person created for you, or that you yourself created for you. Like, any grievance, any anger, anything you're angry or have bitterness about, or anger, resentment. He says guilt. No, we're not getting into guilt yet. That's a separate exercise. I think he just said that because I thought of the word guilt. So just kind of like a grievance, an upsetness. I mean, maybe not upset is too vague, but he says anger, A for anger. So anger, resentment, bitterness, a hurt, a grievance. Because we are going to hone in on What's blocking you from feeling, experiencing, and being the light that you are? And the light, again, is consciousness. It is our Father, Mother. It is our Creator. It's the life force of all living beings of all forms. It's invisible energy to the human eye. We want to awaken this more within your human body and your human mind. So what's blocking it is fear and all the manifestations of fear. And now we're going to tackle anger, all the anger that's within you. So be patient, be kind, be loving, and be compassionate to yourself during this process. Allow yourself to feel the anger, the hurt, the sorrow, the disappointment, the bitterness. And if you do not allow this, or you judge it, or you try to suppress it, you're not going to get very far with this exercise. This exercise includes allowing yourself to feel the painful feelings that come up when you're giving your awareness and attention to what's happened in your life, probably on many, many occasions, that's caused you a grievance or hurt or anger or bitterness. So do 30 minutes only a day, not too much. Space it out. Don't spend hours in one sitting doing it. To get that time. I'm going to spend this time, 30 minutes at this time every day. I'm going to, spend 30 minutes and write down the experience or the name of the person, or just a situation, if it was a situation and not necessarily some person's fault or their action or doing that caused it, but maybe a life event or experience or situation. Write that down. So it's like 1, this thing, 2, this thing, 3, this. So just list them. That's for the next 2 weeks. 30 minutes a day. List what's caused you anger in the past or even still in the present. List them all, from a baby on. And then what are you going to do with this list? We will talk about that next video. I am going to share a formula with you that's going to help you eradicate anger, resentment, bitterness, hurts, being hurt very effectively. I have, really a special way of dealing with this for you all, meaning humans, for us. And it's not something you've heard about before. It's not something that is known. It's not something you've, heard about from a therapist or your pastor or a preacher or, through church or through a spiritual growth teaching course or self-help book, or counseling. Nothing, it's not something that you've heard before. It's going to be simple, simple, simple. And it does end with surrendering it to God, giving it to God. But there's something before doing that. Honor your feelings is very important. And I want to talk just one more minute about why that's important. If you judge yourself for having these negative feelings, you're resisting them. And yes, well, like what you resist persists. That common saying. You're not being loving to yourself. And we need to bring love into this. to truly, grow beyond it, to transcend it, to transmute it. So honor, honor, honor. Do not judge yourself for having negative or quote bad feelings or thoughts. Do not try to suppress them. We're trying to do the opposite of that here, because that's what most of us typically do. It keeps us stuck in low quality everything. Thoughts, feelings, actions, behaviors, fears, and keeps it all. Yeah. And allow yourself to feel the feelings that kind of come up as you're doing this, homework. I'll call it homework or exercise. Like during the exercise, but even before, after, even when you're done doing the exercise, it's going to bring up to the surface what's kind of been buried or is still there, and has not been fully transmuted, or you could call it healed or transformed. So allow yourself to feel the negative feelings, and which is certainly not going to be fun. Honor, honor, honor them, and don't resist them. Don't judge yourself for having them. You must understand that you're like children. A 3-year-old child that gets angry or frustrated or feels upset or hurt about something, you understand that, don't you? Because you understand their mind's level of function or perception or dealing with their feelings is, they're like a child. It's a similar comparison. You'd give like a young little child automatic understanding and forgiveness and not judgment. So, be that way with yourself, because it's very similar. It's really kind of similar. You don't have the awareness yet to not have those negative feelings. And so, honor that. Don't judge yourself for it. Yeah, just like maybe you would automatically do for a young child. So do that for yourself. Yes. Remember, you're here to grow. So, be loving to yourself through this process.